Shalom, family. Good to see you all here. Hope you're doing well. Oh, man. We're going to talk about Chud the Builder. Now, I seen this guy probably more than a year ago out here. And if you don't know who he is, he went around Tennessee using the N word blatantly, just randomly walking up to different brothers and sisters and using the N word just to get a rise out of them. And he was armed. So if you tried to fight him, he would pull this pew pew out on you. And, you know, at the end of the day, he just wanted to antagonize us. We do something and react, and then he feels justified in, unaliving us. That's what it was all about at the end of the day. Well, he went in front of a courthouse and got into it with one of our brothers, and he used the N word, and he would also use the word chimp. And why would a white dude call us a chimp and y'all got Reese's monkey in your DNA? Okay, we don't have that, but you do, but you feel compelled to call us a chimp. Boy, this really is a bizarro world. So the ones that think they aren't a monkey think we are the monkey, but they got the DNA. I mean, man, these people are something else. So anyway, y'all, he used the N word. He ended up, getting somebody that was willing to step up to him. He shoots this guy in the stomach and grazes his arm with a bullet, right? But here's the miraculous part. This is where you know this was an Israelite. After he shot this brother continued to whip his ass. Even though he had a bullet in his stomach, he didn't let up. He was still wailing on his butt. All right. Now, that is what I call that Israelite gene. This dude had it because he never stopped for a moment after getting pumped with a bullet. That dude still kicked Chud the Builder's ass. He still was kicking his ass. So, anyway, the police came and he does what people like him always do. He all of a sudden becomes the victim in the whole thing. And let me tell you something, when they put that brother on the stretcher, people cheered. They were applauding him because although he got shot, he got the best of Chud with a bullet in his stomach. Okay, he still got the best of him. Chud got arrested. Now, look, he calls this brother a chimp. Well, Chud is locked up in prison behind bars like a chimp. Okay, you can't make it up. You called this brother a chimp, but your ass is behind bars like one. So, anyway, the brother was taken to the hospital. The bullet was not life threatening. All right. So, he's going to be fine. Chud just got grazed in the arm. But see, you went out there doing something evil and you expected, because you were a white man, that you were going to come out on top just being a white male. And it didn't turn out that way. So he is getting, he got charged with attempted unaliving. All right. So he is still behind bars where he belongs. He doesn't need to get out. He needs to sit right there until trial. He does not need to get out. And I fault Tennessee. I fault you for allowing this guy to go around using the N word. Now, see, they will tell you that's freedom of speech. But if you turn around and start calling them derogatory names, that's hate speech. You see how they got it all rigged up? We say something back, it's hate speech. If they say something to us derogatory, it's freedom of speech. You see the bullshit they play up in this society? But that is the way it is. But I fault them for allowing this guy to go around and just mess with black folks, trying to get a rise so that he can harm you with a gun. That's all it was about at the end of the day. He wanted to completely take one of us out and get away with the whole thing. But see, when you went out here and you got evil in your heart, things did not turn out the way you thought it was. Now, one thing that a lot of people are raising, and it's a valid point, that, yeah, they're getting him for attempted M word, but y'all, they didn't hit him with a hate crime. And that should have definitely been part of the charges, because he's been going around for a long time, just walking up to random men and women and using the N word. All right. And using the chimp word and all that stuff. Hate speech should not have been hate crime charges, because that will ensure that he will never get from behind bars. That should have been put on him, period. Now, they're saying the charges they got on him can get him up to 25 years behind bars. No, dude don't need to step back on the streets ever again. He has proven that he is a danger to the public. He should never get out. I think his sentence should be so long that if he does get out, he'll be an old ass man. But he should not just get out in a few years. No, no. So let's get to it, y'all. Let's get to it. Let me go ahead and share my screen so we can get into this story. Please give me a 1 if you can see my screen. Thank you.
Some of y'all thought it was all fun and games when Dalton Etherly, aka Chud the Builder, was out here antagonizing black folk, trying to get a rise out of them by calling them racial slurs, in particular the N word, and y'all just chalked it up as somebody trying to get click views and shares. Yeah, he did exactly what many of us knew he was going to do. Now this mofo has shot somebody and they have been life flighted to a hospital in critical condition, because y'all just think it's funny to antagonize and be racist towards black people. And when we speak up about it, you're saying, oh, it's not that deep. You can't take a joke, yada, yada, yada. And now somebody's life is hanging in the balance because some of you white folks do not like accountability. And yet here we are. Here we are. And no doubt did it outside of a courthouse, mind you. No respect, no empathy, no nothing. He just felt like he could do what the fuck he wanted to do because nobody arrested him and held him accountable. And now somebody, family, is going to have to worry about whether they're going to make it or not. Y'all some fucked up ass individuals out here.
A racist clout-chasing demon got himself sent to the clank, and it looks like he's going to be in jail for a little while. Let's get into it. Dalton Etherly, who's known online as the racist troll streamer Chud the Builder, is sitting in the Montgomery County Jail after opening fire outside of a Tennessee courthouse yesterday. The self-described provocateur built a following by using racial slurs against black people and daring anyone to fight him while live streaming the encounters. Now, Chud showed up for a civil debt hearing at the courthouse and left in an ambulance with a self-inflicted gunshot wound to the arm. And the crazy thing is that he shot himself while in the middle of of shooting someone else. His victim is a 31-year-old married father and disabled veteran named Joshua, who took a bullet to the stomach and the shoulder. And according to authorities, the two men got into a fight just after 1:20 p.m. in Millennium Plaza outside the Montgomery County Courthouse in Clarksville. That's when Chud pulled a firearm out and started shooting. Deputies detained both men at the scene, and then the victim, Joshua, was rushed by life flight helicopter to Vanderbilt University Medical Center in Nashville, while Chud was taken by ambulance to a local hospital. Both are listed in stable condition, and unfortunately that means Chud too. And Joshua's family says the emotional and financial toll is devastating. Now, Chud's own social media shows this was premeditated. Less than a week before the shooting, he wrote on Twitter, quote, "I will defend my life with lethal force. Do not approach me with intent to harm or threaten me," end quote. Now, he even used uglier language, saying that he was going to have a dead chimp on the pavement. He has a documented history of trying to provoke Black people on camera by calling us the N-word on stream and trying to provoke us into beating his behind. He also falsely claimed to be a police officer last November and has already been arrested twice in the past 6 months, once for harassment and once for disorderly conduct and theft. Now, this racist clout-chasing demon is facing serious charges, including attempted murder, employing a firearm during a dangerous felony, aggravated assault, and reckless endangerment. The Montgomery County Sheriff's Office is holding him pending arraignment, and the District Attorney's Office says the case will go before a grand jury. So listen up, y'all. Get a real job, because racist clout-chasing will either get you beat up or thrown in the clank.
Like, he's leaving.
He's trying to claim self-defense?
He's trying to claim self-defense.
Okay. It's hard. It's hard for him to claim self-defense. I have cases like that. It's hard to claim self-defense because the other guy didn't show a weapon. He didn't recognize a weapon. And it's going to be hard to try to prove it to a jury that, I felt like my life was in danger. You know what I mean? So the only way I can think that he can get out of that is if he can show the jury that at that specific time, at that specific point, he felt that his life was in danger from a deadly weapon from the other guy. And if he felt that, then he can try to tell the jury that I, Chud the Builder, felt like my life was in danger because so I had to pull my gun out and defend myself. But it's gonna be a hard battle to win it.
And it's being reported. I don't know he's leaving.
The rise and fall of Chud the Builder is 100% going to go down in streamer history because it was the quickest rise and the quickest fall I've ever seen. Chud the Builder was just charged with attempted murder following his retarded antics that he thought that he was just going to continuously get away with. The other day, he was at a courthouse in Tennessee, and come to find out, he used his weapon on himself and 2 others. And we all have seen his content, right? So you know that he was the person who started whatever happened, right? People want to talk about stand your ground this, stand your ground that. There is no stand your ground law when you are the antagonizer, when you're the one starting shit. If you're the one starting something and someone, let's say, punches you, you can't then pull out your gun and shoot them. No, you have to use equal force. So punch them back. Chud the Builder got exactly what he's asked for. He was begging for this attention. He got exactly what he wanted, right? He got charged with murder. He got horrible press. He did not become rich. He did not become famous. So this should be a message to all other white people who looked up to him, who thought what he was doing was cool. It could have been worse. He could have actually ran into the type of Black people that he's talking about and got deleted. They would have gave him a first-class ticket to the underworld. So maybe him being charged and going to prison forever might have saved his life. Who knows?
The man we know as Chud the Builder was involved in a shooting outside of the Montgomery County Courthouse in Clarksville. That's not too far away from Nashville, but you probably recognize the name because you've seen this guy traveling around Nashville or other parts of Tennessee using the N-word, to create viral moments for clicks and likes, all that type of stuff. Some sort of argument or whatever happened right outside the courthouse, and Chud, otherwise known as Dalton Etherly, opened fire. From what we understand is that he shot this other person and he may have grazed himself in the process. Both people at this point are in stable condition. I believe the other person was life flighted to one of the hospitals nearby. And so it's a serious situation. This is the same person who was walking around saying all sorts of racially charged comments to people while carrying a firearm. And so many of you sent me videos of this guy doing all of this stuff, asking, okay, so what are my rights in this type of situation? I had to reach out to one of the attorneys here, David Rabin, who told me, okay, well, you need to look closer into disorderly conduct. And I think most of us probably think of disorderly conduct as someone just walking around Broadway drunk, shouting things or whatever. But what he explained is that disorderly conduct, actually applies to a number of different things. Let me just read one real quick. Any person who shall disturb the peace of others by conduct or fighting words calculated to provoke violence or violation of law. In other words, if this person is saying things to get a reaction out of you, knowing that it could put you in harm's way, well, then that would apply for disorderly conduct. And disorderly conduct is just the tip of the iceberg. The other person involved in all of this was seriously hurt. One of these people made it abundantly clear on their Twitter that their intention was to harm a person of color. They could look at this man's past videos and notice a pattern of escalating tension to the point where this felt like it was bound to happen one way or another. When people don't walk away, he calls the cops. So what I'm suggesting is you call the cops. Put them on the spot. Like, say, hey, let me explain to you what happened. Let the cops handle that. The cops at this point know this person's name. They understand what his game is. Like, they know what he's up to. I just don't think that enough people understood that they had rights too. If this person or any person is saying these things to try and get a reaction out of you, to force you into doing something where you could end up putting your life in danger, don't even chance it.
So if you guys don't know, Chud the Builder, the guy that's been walking around Nashville, Tennessee, calling black people the N-word with a hard R, has been arrested in Clarksville, Tennessee. So I'm looking, and it looks like he walked up to a guy and, was starting his spiel or whatever. And the guy told him, I got PTSD. Don't come to me with that, right? Trying to call me the hard R, the N-word with the hard R or whatever. And Chud started in on like doing what he doing. The dude took off on a big, start rocking him, right? And then Chud the Builder's, he's saying that the dude was wailing on him, right? So instead of Chud being a man and using his fists in a situation, which he should not have been in that situation anyway, he shouldn't be antagonizing people. Chud the Builder decides to pull a firearm and use it. And so he ends up shooting this guy, and he ends up accidentally shooting himself, right? Or grazing himself. So now Chud the Builder is going to go to jail because he has just been charged with attempted murder on top of a whole slew of other charges. They didn't just charge him with attempted murder. They charged him with a whole bunch of stuff, right? Because Chud is the aggressor, the antagonizer, and all of that. And they kind of just looked at what Chud's been doing and looking at the whole situation and scenario and decided he needs to be charged. You know what would be crazy? If Chud the Builder got a black judge. Oh my God. If Chud the Builder got a black judge that he had to stand in front of, could y'all imagine that? Oh my God. Now, Chud, you say that we we act out, and people say words and things like that. We act out and we lose control. You say things like that, and you are the one that's arrested for doing something you shouldn't have done, right? You tried to end somebody's life over a fist fight that you allegedly created, right? Which we all know how you get down. So I would, it's safe to say Chud is probably the antagonizer in this situation. But, words are words. People have freedom of speech and all of that. But a lot of that comes with consequences, right? Like if you're with your girl and the dude walks up and he says, your girl's an H word, a 304, right? And, this is let's say you got a girl, she do what she's supposed to do. She good, you know what I mean? And, or your wife, and the dude comes up to disrespect it. You got freedom of speech. You can say what you want, but there is consequences with your words, right? Or let's just say your daughter or something wants you to go to Target to get her some pencils or something from school, and some lunatic decides to film and call her out of her name. What are you going to do as a parent? You know what I mean? You know what we should do, but if somebody does something like that with your kid, you're probably going to flip out and go off, right? Words can have consequences, right? But Chud, you ended up losing control. Y'all was saying, wait a minute, you losing control. But you ended up losing control. And then now you have to pay the consequences. And now they couldn't get you or because you do have freedom of speech and stuff like that, which I think they could have done something, because you're kind of like a domestic terrorist. It feels like you're running around, people trying to have freedom and, and try to just live and, and have their pursuit of happiness. You have somebody stopping them, calling them the N-word. Right, and trying to put them on film and try to humiliate them and all of that. But they couldn't technically, they say, do anything, but now you're being charged. But you know what would be funny? Like I said, if he got a black judge, Tennessee, I know it's a lot of black judges out here. I'm just saying what it is. It will be very, very, invigorating. Oh, God. If he got a black judge, I would love it. I would love that. But you know what, Chud, I get to, I can watch TV, I can play a video game, I can go to the store, I can drive around, I don't have cops telling me what to do, CEOs telling me what to do. But Chud, it would be very interesting if Tennessee pulled one and gave you a black judge. That would be hilarious. But yes, Chud the Builder is facing them charges, some serious charges. What do y'all think? How is this going to play out? How is this going to play out? He may get bail, right? But he's always going to have it over his head of the potential risk of, going to jail, of going to court and losing and going to jail, right? Interesting. Was it really worth it? He's got to ask himself. Yes, you become a martyr of freedom of speech, but you know what? You are running around calling black people that, right? But you probably wouldn't say that to the Jewish community. You wouldn't call them out of their names. You're not calling like a whole lot of other people out of their names. You're choosing black people to do that too. I think there needs to be an example made out of him, domestic terrorists. Because if we did something like that, you know what the police would do. You know what the FBI would do. You know what the district attorney would do. They would come after us with everything that they had. But Chud the Builder, they allowed to skate and get away with this. And now somebody has been shot in the hospital because of his actions. Let me know what y'all think down in the comment section below. I'm out, y'all. Peace.
Racist content creator Chud the Builder gets into an altercation today with a black man. Yes, I know, shocker there. In which the black man punches Chud the Builder after Chud the Builder antagonizes him, asking him, is he going to, quote, chimp out, calling him the N-word. You guys know his stuff. But that black man named Joshua Fox, who is a former military veteran, 31 years old, was not going for Chud the Builder shenanigans, and he attacked him. So Chud the Builder then shoots that black man. But in addition to shooting the black man, Chud the Builder, dumbass, shot himself. You love to hear it. And now Chud the Builder is being charged with attempted murder. Hopefully he is convicted. We need more of these racists off the streets. There's way too many of them all on the streets and on social media, in my opinion. So I would rather see them either in a cage or downstairs cooking with who. But all of this is fun for Chud. All of this is what Chud wants. He literally tweeted this. I can't read it out loud, but I'll put it on the screen for you guys. And speaking of racists, his fan base is now donating to him because, of course, they are. One thing about you racists is that you guys stick together. You guys definitely stick together. I would give you guys that. If you guys didn't hate us the way that you guys do, I would almost admire you guys. But nah, fuck y'all. But black people, speaking of sticking together, we need to work on sticking together better because these racists are fucking they are like this, son. They are working together. They are rocking with Chud. We have to stop all this infighting, all this shooting one another, all this fighting one another. Black people, we have to do better. We are the most hated race on the planet, in my opinion. So black people, we need to get our shit together. And if you are watching this and you from a different race, this isn't about hating you because I don't hate anybody. I don't. But I'm not blind to the hatred that people in your race have for people in mine. So I have to react accordingly. But anyway, let me know what you guys think down in my comments.
Chud the Builder ultimately faces more than 25 years in prison after being charged with attempted murder without the possibility of parole. Days before the incident, Chud was arrested for failing to pay his bill at a restaurant in Nashville. Furthermore, he is known for his provocative live streams, frequently verbally taunting and provoking passersby on the street, deliberately escalating conflicts to attract viewers. This style of live streaming has not only sparked public outrage, taking into account his recent string of legal violations and public conduct, the court determined that Chud poses a high level of danger and a significant risk of reoffending, and consequently sentenced him to a long-term prison term without the possibility of bail. Legal experts have emphasized that social media influence does not serve as a get-out-of-jail-free card for illegal acts. Individuals must bear full responsibility for real-world acts of aggression and threats to public safety.
So Chud the Builder is getting charged with attempted murder. This is the man that goes around antagonizing individuals, calling them racial slurs, and then expects nobody to fucking react and claim, oh my God, free speech, free speech, free speech. So this man was at a courthouse because he ran out on a $300 bill, right? And felt comfortable enough to antagonize individuals outside the courthouse. Got into a situation where someone threw a punch and then he shot him. And immediately went to the police and was like, oh my God, he punched me, so I shot him. Oh my God, that's my self-defense. It was in self-defense. But the thing is, you didn't fucking read the laws in the state you live in. You felt comfortable enough because you saw some things on the internet and you thought you'd get away with some shit that other people got away with, but the laws in Tennessee aren't set up that way, my love. A punch does not give you the right to use deadly force. So you're going to be rotting in prison. You admitted the man threw a punch and you shot him. You're going to jail. Then the MAGA losers are over there like, oh my God, free speech is under attack. I'm tired of y'all saying that shit. I'm tired of hearing that from y'all when you don't even understand what the fuck free speech is. Right to free speech means that you cannot be arrested for your speech. And there are exceptions. This does not meet that. However, is he being charged with anything regarding his free speech? No, he's being charged with a shooting, an attempted murder. Free speech is not you get to say whatever the fuck you want to, and you're not going to have consequences by another private fucking citizen. And also, your self-defense claim is out the fucking window when you are the aggressor. Read the laws in your state, stupid.
Breaking news to tell you about the social media influencer known as Chud the Builder is now facing an attempted murder charge after a shooting today outside the Montgomery County Courthouse. Deputies say Dalton Etherly, better known on social media as Chud the Builder, was involved in a fight leading to gunfire. Both men were hospitalized. Deputies just arrested Etherly, charging him with attempted murder, aggravated assault, and reckless endangerment with a deadly weapon. Tonight, he's being held in the Montgomery County Jail.
Breaking fuck the news. Chud the Builder. If you don't know who that is, it's the guy with the cowboy hat, the mustache, who walks around calling black people the N-word. This guy is now facing attempted murder charges after he got into another fight with another guy who he shot. He's facing attempted murder, aggravated assault, deploying a firearm during a felony, and many more. He's facing 15 to 25 years in jail and is being held currently. Yeah. And for everybody who's already going to say, well, we knew, I'm not surprised, honestly. Apparently the other person, from what I've heard so far, is still alive. But yeah, I knew this was going to happen. He has threatened too many people too many times. He's threatened black people way too many times. He's reached in his pocket and grabbed for a weapon. And honestly, we knew something like this was going to happen. We won't be seeing Chud the Builder content anymore. And honestly, it was quick. I didn't think it was going to be this fast. But man, he speed ran that shit. I'll keep you guys updated with more.
No, Chud got taken down quick because he was messing with the Most High's children. See, when you do that, you ain't gonna last long out here. And it went exactly the way it was supposed to. He tried to make an attack on somebody. They responded. He pulled a weapon, and his ass is in a cage like a chimp. So, it happened the way it was supposed to happen, you know? And I dare him to call them brothers up in the jail chimps and N-words. Let's see what happens to you then. You'll be coming out in a body bag, buddy. Go ahead and call them dudes you behind bars with. Call them all that stuff that you were saying out on the streets. Keep that same energy. So Chud ain't about shit. He ain't about shit. That's why he's behind bars like a champ. So, y'all, I'm going to go ahead and conclude. Let's see here. Antithesis, thank you so much for the super chat and your support for my channel. Fud around and found out. Caught them hands and feet. Bet that ish won't happen again. You darn right. It won't happen behind bars where them brothers get a hold of him and see you can't run and go get a gun when you're behind bars. All right. So try it up in there, Chud, since you so big and bad. Black R Us 365. Thank you so much for your support from my channel. Chud's action should guarantee our Black American hate crime bill. It should, but it won't. It should. You're absolutely right. They should have we should have been the first one up in this bitch to get a hate crime bill. All these other people, they should never have gotten it before us. But the hate in this government and among politicians for us is deep. So, y'all, I'm going to go ahead and conclude. I got one more live coming up at 3:45. So I will see you then. Thank you for your support. I deeply appreciate it. And don't forget to pick up your hair products. Shalom, family.